Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, January 9th. So today we will see the moon in Sagittarius go void, of course, at 1:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be locking into Capricorn energy at 8:34 p.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So this is setting us up for the new moon energies. Of course, we have the new moon in Capricorn taking place on the 11th, reaching that 20th degree, 44 minutes of Capricorn energy. And so gently kind of easing us into this cardinal earth energy sign. We are definitely moving into, let's call it the funk, as, of course, the new moon is the dark phase of the moon. There's no light, no illumination in the sky. Means that we have to sit with ourselves, sit in the funk, really explore what it is that we no longer want to experience, what it is that we no longer want to kind of build towards. And from those particular not so nice experiences, we're going to create a framework on what it is that we would like to experience instead. These particular situations, circumstances, and realizations will kind of be the seeds that we will be planting under that new moon in Capricorn. We do have to kind of build in this energy. There's no point in kind of tapping into the energy right away, seeing as this new moon event is taking place at the 20th degree. We do need a little bit of time to kind of build up in that frustration, in those realizations, before we're going to have a bigger, broader picture on what it is that we're letting go of, what it is that we're collapsing, and what it is that we are going to be building as far as futuristic goals and visions go. So there are 12 different aspects taking place here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, still very much in Sagittarius energy, going to make a positive interaction with the sun in Capricorn energy. This particular interaction is going to kind of reveal an aha moment, a new level of awareness, epiphany, if you will, on where it is that some of the visions, some of the dreams that we're currently kind of percolating on in imaginary land actually have enough substance in order for us to bring them to life. The sun in Capricorn energy shining a bright light on what it is that we have to build in our current present moment as far as routines, structures, foundations, belief systems go, in order for us to actually align with this greater vision, with this greater dream that we actually want to manifest. The moon is then going to make a tough interaction with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener, retrograde in Taurus energy, supposed to be highlighting for us where it is that we want change, where we want to grow, we want to expand, we want to create new opportunities for ourselves, but we're resisting what needs to be done at all costs. The moon interacting with Uranus in this way is going to highlight for us where it is that there is a great distance between where it is that we're at and where it is that we desire to be, and where it is that there is a great resistance on doing the things that we know that we need to do in order to close out the old, clean the slate for this present moment so that we can start building towards the new. This is going to bring a certain level of confusion, a certain level of anxiety, a certain level of restlessness for us to sit in order for us to figure out where it is that when push comes to shove, we got to get out of our own damn way. The moon is then going to trine, beautiful interaction, with the North Node in Aries energy. This is some fire on fire action, and we love fire on fire action because, first of all, it is very much helping us burn through the cords, the attachments that are keeping us stuck in the past. Secondly, it's a regenerative energy. It's giving us a spark, a fire, a flame, a new inspiration, new motivation, new creative life forces for us to work with. Thirdly, it's giving us initiating energy. We are building in our determination to actually see something through. The North Node in Aries energy, trying to get us on the right path, on the path that is going to lead us to our next mission, to our next soul's potential point. This is constructively piecing together the vision, the goal, the dream that we're being called to pursue, and finally starting to see where it is that we could take some steps, even if they're baby steps, to break away from where it is that we've been and really start anchoring into trying new things to get us to where it is we desire to be. The moon is then going to make an awkward interaction with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter rules over the Sagittarius Sagittarius energy that the moon is currently in. So this is a intense interaction. It always is when we're bumping into the ruler that we are currently sitting in the energy of. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He is in Taurus energy, making it a very low, slow process, building towards something new, understanding what it is that we have to bring into form, what it is that we have to give birth to, what it is that we have to create in order to stabilize our physical realm, to create more happiness, create more joy, create more prosperity. But this is a tough interaction, which means that emotionally speaking, we're not as motivated, as positive, as confident as we would typically be if this was a positive interaction. And so now we're kind of sitting in a little bit of a questioning period. Do we have what it takes? Are we well equipped to actually bring this vision to life? Do we have the motivation, the determination that we need to have right now in order to continue to push ourselves through the blockages, through the challenges that we know that we're going to face while trying to bring something new to life? We're getting a little bit down on ourselves. We're kind of hesitating to see where it is that we do have the power to create something new in our physical realms and reality. And so we're just kind of stepping back. We're just observing. We're just kind of understanding where it is that we're kind of getting or letting that egoic programming of fear, of paralysis to keep us in a holding state. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who rules over roles, responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations, willpower, belief systems, because he's in this Pisces energy, trying to dissolve the delusion, the confusion, if you will, the old habits, the old behaviors, the old perspective, the old belief system, in order to build something more powerful in the place of the things that were not strong enough to house this next building chapter. What I like about this energy is, first of all, it's a positive interaction. So we're not getting bitch slapped with reality. We're not getting a reality check for Mr. Saturn. He likes to deliver those every now and then. Instead, what we're understanding and what we're realizing is that if the spark, the fire, the flame of this new vision, of this new goal, of this new dream is powerful enough to stay the course, to stay lit, to keep us inspired, to keep us motivated, then we are definitely going to have to build something in our lives, whether it be a routine, a practice, a mantra, whatever the case may be, in order for us to stay on that course so that we're not dipping off and going back to the, let's call it victimhood mentality, dark pit that we often find ourselves in and totally derail ourselves from the path, from the plan, from the direction that we're looking to take. So this is almost like a realistic, logical, practical point of view on what it is that we have to do in the here and now, in this present moment, to start building something solid that's going to support us, whether it be a spiritual practice, whether it just be a solid routine, whatever the case may be, that will actually help us see this particular goal and vision through. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Uranus, again, the Great Awakener, who is retrograde in this Taurus energy. This is going to bring some clarity. This is going to bring a big picture vision, a bigger perspective, a bigger idea. This is going to open us up to understanding where it is that we have to deviate away from doing the things in our lives that we have been doing in order to adopt different methods, different ways of going about actually breaking away from the old, actually clearing a space in this present moment for the here and now so that we can start building towards our futuristic goals, our futuristic dreams. The moon is then going to get into the boxing ring and square off with Neptune. Neptune, of course, in his place of power in this Pisces energy. This is going to bring a certain detachment from our higher selves, from our intuition. This is going to overwhelm us with the possibilities of bringing those goals, those visions to life. This is going to overstimulate us with, I'm going to say, a lot of confusing details, a lot of delusion when it comes to realizing what is imaginary, what is realistic, what we can actually achieve, what we can actually obtain, and what is just an overall hope, wish, and dream. So this particular interaction definitely going to bring us down a couple of pegs in our mood, in our attitude. This is going to really invoke a lot of fear, a lot of questions, a lot of insecurities, if you will, because we're starting to actually get to the point where we're going to have to take action upon removing the things that we know are blocking us in our path in the direction that we want to actually move in. The moon is going to come up to, bump into, conjunct Mercury. Mercury's the ruler of the mental plane. He's in Sagittarius energy, and this is a beautiful moment where our heart and our head get on the same page in the most optimistic, confident, big picture, big vision kind of way. This is a renewal, a restoration, if you will, in our heart space, in our head space. We're in agreement, we're in alignment, and that definitely feels good. It's at this particular point that if we're put in a situation to have conversations, to articulate our thoughts, our ideas, our visions, our goals, our dreams, we're going to be able to communicate with a lot of confidence, with a lot of clarity, and paint that greater, grander picture for other people that we're now able to fully understand. This is going to be a powerful realization even within ourselves, being able to piece together some of those puzzle pieces that have been off to the side, not really clicking in with some of the puzzle pieces that we currently have on the table. And of course, that is going to reveal a different perspective, a different vision, a different goal, a different, let's call it, greater, grander perspective on what this goal, this idea, this vision, this dream actually is to us, actually could be for us. So it's at this particular point in time, 1:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that the moon is going to go void of course. This is where things get shaky, unstable, uncertain, where we start really questioning the things that we thought we were sure of. The sun in Capricorn energy going to semi-square, creating a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a conflict point with Saturn. Saturn rules over the Capricorn energy that the sun is in. Saturn is in Pisces energy, and this is going to be the harsh reality check that we were hoping to avoid. First of all, we're going to realize where it is that we're not feeling so satisfied, where we are feeling the weight of the roles, the responsibilities very heavily on our shoulders. We are kind of understanding where it is that we have a desire to make a change, where we have a desire to make some moves, to make some progress here, but there is a blockage. And likely it is in our confidence, it is in the belief system within ourselves. And so this is where we start becoming a little bit more afraid of change, where Negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, they come out to play. This is where we start realizing that we feel like we're being blocked in being able to move forward, either by circumstance or a particular individual. This is where we start to feel very discouraged. This is where gratitude is very hard to come by. And this is where we have to have patience to kind of wait this particular funky energy out without reacting to it. The want, the need, the desire to kind of rebel, to kind of throw our plans out the window, to kind of sit in defeat. We want to avoid that at all costs. It's not going to last very long, but it is very necessary to take this deep dive into the funk in order for us to see the perspective, the opportunities, the options from a different lens. So about 4 hours later, the sun in Capricorn is going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Uranus, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. The trine is Earth on Earth energy, and this is what is going to shift us out of that funk that, of course, definitely came on very, very thick. The Uranian energy wants to kind of open us up to new perspectives, download us with an aha moment, an epiphany to really shock us, disrupt that funky system we've been sitting in, and open up our minds to a new path, to a new direction, to a new understanding, to a new perspective. This is going to encourage us to kind of leave Negative Nancy and Debbie Downer behind and open ourselves up to new narratives, to new emotions, to new thoughts, to new ideas. Even if we are a little bit hesitant or afraid of change, we're building ourselves up to do it, even though we may be a little bit afraid of doing so. This is going to give us a unique perspective and some out-of-the-box solutions, let's say, to some of the problems that we became very aware of when the sun and Saturn did their little funky little jive that we just sat in for 4 hours. This is going to help us kind of have a fresh new perspective, mood, attitude, where we are a little bit more oriented to approaching these challenges, these obstacles with a lot more confidence, a lot more of a warrior type of spirit than we were kind of sitting in earlier in the day. This could actually put us in a perfect position to start kind of connecting the dots and putting some puzzle pieces together that again reveal a greater, grander picture than what it is that we were currently sitting in. And it's putting us in a mood and an attitude where we're more willing to take I'm going to say well-calculated risk than just sitting back, observing, and being fearful, being kind of resistant to making any kind of move, even if it does carry a little bit of promise of getting us on the path in the direction that we're hoping to actually orient to. So the moon then goes ahead and makes a positive interaction with Pluto. So we know that because we're interacting with Pluto and he's at the 29th degree of Capricorn energy, we know that the moon is at the 29th degree of Sagittarius energy, preparing to move into the next sign, which is Capricorn energy. The moon interacting with Pluto, this is a boss up. This is an empowerment type of mood and attitude. This is an aha moment, pushing us to step out of the pain, the trauma, the fear, the doubts, the insecurities, and use that as the fuel to the fire that we need to keep cultivated within us, to understand that we can overcome anything because we've already overcome all of the challenge, all of the obstacles that have been previously thrown at us. This is a different perspective, different mood, different attitude, and very much pushing us into the warrior type of mentality that we need to be in for this next chapter. So again, this is when the moon at 8:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time shifts into Capricorn energy. Now, the only aspect that we have taking place while the moon is in Capricorn energy doesn't involve the moon at all. It's actually between Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire in this Capricorn energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Saturn, who of course rules over the Capricorn energy, not only that Mars is in, but that the moon is now in as well. And of course, Saturn rules over Capricorn season in its entirety. So this is a sextile, lucky for us, because if it was any other aspect that created tension or conflict, we would be really, really down on ourselves at this particular point in time. But what this is going to do is, first of all, it's going to get us motivated. It's going to get us in alignment with our goals, with our ambitions. And we're going to take a well-oiled, I'm going to say refined approach to what it is that we need to do. Meaning, again, reminder, Mars would typically like to take action, especially on impulse, without thinking about the long-term consequences of said action. But in Capricorn energy, he can't act like that. Capricorn energy is forcing him to be a little bit more deliberate with his energy. We're not out there just making moves for the sake of making moves. It has to be a strategy. It has to be deliberate. It has to be well calculated. There is a huge lesson, again, if you want to go back and listen to the astro forecast with Mars being in this Capricorn energy, there's a huge lesson in energy management, because Mars would typically go balls to the walls and exert all of his energy and would never reach the goalpost. Capricorn energy is in it for the long term, understanding that it means short-term sacrifice for long-term gains. And so this particular interaction between Mars and Saturn, we understand the responsibility that we have. We understand the changes that we have to make. We understand the roles and responsibilities that we're bossing up to. We understand the thoroughness that we need to spend in our visionary state in order to kind of think of all the different variables, all the different consequences to the actions in which we are currently trying to strategize. This is a slow but steady pace, a slow but steady progress that is going to help us really set ourselves up for success. This is encouraging us to tap into the warrior type of spirit so that we're not shying away from this level up, because with great power comes great responsibility, and Saturn is definitely going to remind us of that each and every single turn. And Mars, of course, he is that warrior type of spirit, but he has to start using his weapon a lot more deliberately. He can't just be out there, swinging that sword around and then, oops, sorry, didn't mean to stab you, didn't mean to cut you in half. This is a well-calculated, well-strategized plan, direction that we need to take. And it's a good reality check, if you will, on where it is that slow and steady will win the race. We have a better insight on what it is that needs to be done. We have a better tone, mood, attitude to get that done. We are exercising way better judgment because we're slowing ourselves down and acting as the observer before we take any kind of action. And we are definitely in the mind space and the heart space to get our shit together and to get organized.